welcome to the Revival Centres Church podcast. Hi, this is Jeff. We're the Revival Centres Church, a worldwide fellowship of Christian believers. We've each had our own direct personal experience of the living God. In this episode, Candice and I read news covering the period July to August 2025. You can see all of our news stories and pictures at our website, revivalcentres.org.
New Zealand Youngies Camp. Matariki Camp has quickly become a highlight of the year for the Youngies, and this year's edition, our third, was the best one yet. Held over the Matariki public holiday, which marks the Maori New Year, we gathered together to worship, fellowship and have a whole lot of fun. Huge thanks to Nina and co for organising such a great camp. This year we were split into 3 teams each with their own team name, bandanas and flags. We competed in team challenges and games, with the crowd favourite once again being Ki Orahi, a traditional Maori game combining elements of rugby, netball and tag, where teams either try to score tries or hit the central target. It always gets the blood pumping. It was awesome to see saints from across Aotearoa make the trip. And as always, we encouraged our Aussie friends to come join us too. Over the course of the weekend, 9 young brothers got up to share the word, some for the very first time. The theme for the camp was stars, inspired by the Matariki constellation, also known as the Pleiades, which signals the Maori New Year when it appears in the dawn sky. A recurring message through many of the talks, 3 of which referred to Psalm 8, was how incredible it is that the creator of the vast universe would be mindful of us. It's humbling to realise that while we are like dust, he wants a relationship with each one of us. Another powerful thread was about how God provides for all our important needs. As Spirit-filled people, we're reminded there's nothing to be anxious about when we know the one who holds it all together. A special shout out to Jordan, whose thought really stood out. He compared the bright but brief burn of cardboard to the material success of the world, flashy but fleeting, while the Lord is like a steady log on the fire, long-lasting, true and constant. Matariki Camp 2025 was full of fun, inspiration and fellowship. Just what we needed to push through the mid-year slump. Looking forward to seeing even more of you there next year. Melbourne Peninsula Trivia Night. The Peninsula, Southern, meeting is one of the 3 assemblies in Melbourne, meeting every Sunday at the Somerville Mechanics Hall. On Saturday, we met at the Frankston Lifesaving Club right on the water in the middle of Frankston for a trivia night. It was a cold winter's night, but that didn't dampen the enthusiasm as we kicked off into our subject rounds of geography, history, science and biblical, to name a few. We had a break from questions, were treated to a delicious supper, hot drinks and time for fellowship together. This inaugural event was a great opportunity to bring visitors along, and as we had visitors and locals alike join in for the festivities, it's an event that's sure to be repeated. The winners for the night were Team Benjis, with their young, adorable, team mascot Benjamin. They had a decisive victory with solid knowledge across the board. Thanks to everyone who supported the night and joined in for the fun and fellowship.
Solomon Islands, a new work. The Solomon Islands, a nation of hundreds of islands in the South Pacific, has many World War II-era sites. Guadalcanal, a province and one of the archipelago's largest islands, honours fallen Allied soldiers at its US War Memorial. Guadalcanal is also home to the nation's capital, Honiara, whose bustling central market showcases the island's produce and traditional handcrafts. That was from Google. Well, the above is true. However, Pastor David from Auckland and Pastor Darcy from Brisbane see it as more than that. Pastor Darcy writes, "We took a 3-hour plane flight and landed in Honiara on Wednesday the 2nd of July. Backstory. A group of approximately 150 saints and children sought to join the Revival Centres Church. After communicating with me and saints in Papua New Guinea for the last 7 months, it was time to go and see it for ourselves. The journey starts. Leaving Australia on Wednesday the 2nd of July, we arrived in Honiara to a warm welcome from Pastor Salvatore Sifo and Dennis Yehilimo. Later that evening we had dinner with these two and Salvatore's wife, Rhoda, and Dennis's wife, Docas. It was 4 hours of bliss to listen to their testimonies and hear how they came to the Lord and made a courageous stand to separate from immorality, starting a new fellowship. They wanted to be part of revival centres after hearing about the church's stand 30 years ago on upholding good morals. Over the next few days we had 2 oversight meetings, a new hall opening and a communion meeting on Sunday, and a final lunch with all the pastors and leaders who were still in town. Both Pastor David and I, writes Pastor Darcy, had a most enjoyable time over the last 6 days meeting all the saints, including so many children. The fellowship is spread about 60-40 between the significant islands of Guadalcanal and Malaysia, as well as a small group in one of the northern western islands. It's a comfort to know that Spirit-filled saints understand the Scriptures and desire to be part of our fellowship. It is also a privilege to welcome them all into our family. The Solomon Islands are closely related to Papua New Guinea, however they sing like the Fijians. I think that's a compliment. Pastor Darcy continues, a good chorus to sing with them. I love this family of God, so closely knitted into one. They've taken me into their heart, and I'm so glad to be a part of this great family. Please keep this new work in your prayers. That's from Pastor Darcy Ryan and Pastor David Pearson.
Polish Camp Report. This summer, 35 brothers and sisters from Poland, Italy, South Tyrol, Germany, England, Holland, Australia and New Zealand travelled to a small village near the Polish Baltic Sea for the RCC summer camp. A week of fellowship, meetings, singing together, laughing and excursions. There is no better way to recharge your spiritual batteries. This year's camp theme was, and he opened their understanding that they might comprehend the Scriptures, Luke 24:45. We heard many uplifting talks on this theme from our pastors and brothers. Prayer meetings in the morning after a hearty breakfast got us ready for a good start into the day. The activities that followed ranged from walks to nearby Utska, swimming in the Baltic Sea, regardless of the weather conditions, walks along the sand dunes, facial treatments for the women, climbing a viewing tower and a day trip to the Elblag Canal in eastern Poland, which we were able to explore during a boat tour. Since Pink Day was such a big success last year, this year each of us was invited to wear an orange item of clothing on the day trip. Some of us took this task very seriously. Not only during the songs at the meeting, but also during the outreach at Utska, we were able to give our best shot in Polish. We distributed numerous flyers and invited people to a meeting. Despite the language barrier, it was fun. As always, it was a pleasure for me to take part at the camp and to see how the Holy Spirit unites us. Regardless of our nationality, language or age group, we are in harmony with one another through the Holy Spirit. The short nights with long conversations about the Lord and the occasional jam session were also among my personal highlights of the week. Unfortunately, the camp was over after only a week. That's why I am already looking forward to the next opportunity for fellowship to overcome the after-camp blues more easily. God bless, Evelyn.
Brisbane 50s dinner night. Revival Centres Church Brisbane was in full swing last Saturday when the Assembly enjoyed a 50s dinner night that brought together saints from Brisbane, Gold Coast and Sunshine Coast assemblies. The night of fellowship was complete with traditional 50s meals, period dress and even visiting coaches that taught the crowd how to step out in style. The evening was a massive success, with some 130 folks, including many new people, young and old, thoroughly enjoying the nostalgic night of fun and fellowship. Well, that's the end of our news for July and August. We'll have a longer period of news later in the year. I hope you enjoyed the fact that Candice was speaking at a fairly crowded venue, which gave some interesting background noise, which I guess just added to the overall excitement. Just a reminder that if you want to read the stories, or perhaps more importantly now see the pictures, head over to our website, revivalcentres.org.
Be exalted,
Thanks for listening. You can find out more about Revival Centres Church at our website, revivalcentres.org. See you next time.
Be over all the earth.